Welcome everybody to North Central Pets and to this elective, Making the Most Out of Our Club Meetings. I'm Dean Ryerson, past district governor from District 6250 in Madison, Wisconsin, where I'm a proud member of the Rotary Club of Madison Westtown Middleton. Also providing assistance today is Kay Norton from Brookings, South Dakota, and
Hi,
Liz
everyone.
Smith. Yep, there's Kay and Liz Smith from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Liz and Kay, thanks for joining us and providing tech and other support for us for this meeting. By the way, we've already got a teachable moment. You notice that I've got tech support. That's because I'm facilitating the meeting. I don't want to fool around with how to do the PowerPoint, how to monitor the chat room and all of that. If you're doing virtual meetings for your club meetings, we recommend you get somebody to act as a support person with you on the Zoom so you can worry about running the meeting and you don't have to worry about all of the technology. While I'm at it, I remember that you as a club president, oh, I've already said that. I'm repeating myself. Let's get back to it. I want to let you know that I've had many opportunities to serve Rotary since my time as a club president. I've been a district governor, now a past governor. I've been a leader in several zone activities, but I got to tell you, the best and most enjoyable position I held was while serving as the second president of the Rotary Club of Wisconsin Rapids Sunrise in central Wisconsin. I know that you'll have the same experience as you serve your club as its president. Thanks for saying yes and enjoy it and have fun. Let's review some ground rules for this session. Please put yourselves on mute. I think everybody's on mute right now so as not to distract others. Feel free to use the chat room for questions or comments on anything we discuss during this session. You may have some good ideas that you want to share with your colleagues. Use the chat room to do that. I'd also like you to use the chat room to tell us what you don't like about meetings. What frustrates you about meetings? We're going to then, toward the end of our session this evening, review that list and make sure we've answered all the concerns that you have. And Kay's going to be monitoring that chat room for us. There's going to be some times this afternoon when I'm going to say, it sounds like a lot of you are already doing this. Which club is already doing what we're talking about? And then I'm going to ask you to either raise your hand physically so we can see it like I'm doing right now, or use the thumbs up or applause notation in the reaction function at the bottom of your screen, at least for those of you who have laptops, because we're going to want to find out what you're doing. There's I think around 60 of us on this meeting right now, so we're not going to be able to hear from everybody, but we want to hear from as many of you as we can. So let's review the learning objectives for this session. We know that member engagement is critical to membership retention. That engagement starts at your club meeting. So we'll want to share ideas about engagement of members during meetings. How can you find out if your club meetings are meeting member needs and the needs of you and your club board? We'll share tools to diagnose your meeting effectiveness. We also know that Rotary has enabled you to structure your meetings in a way that's the best fit for your club. So we want to explore flexibility that you have with your meetings. My club, the Rotary Club of Madison Westtown Middleton, is now planning for post-pandemic meetings. What will that look like for your club? We'll discuss some considerations. Finally, getting new members started right begins with their installation. So we'll look at a video on how you might do this. Rotary's mission statement is an important aspect of our service as Rotarians. It's important that whatever we do in Rotary, we keep in mind this mission statement, even as it relates to meeting considerations. Meetings, that's where we are together. Meetings where we learn about our Rotary world. Meetings where we unite and talk about service to others. Also, we talk about change, lasting change in the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Okay, Liz, next slide. Thank you. Paul Harris, our Rotary founder, said some important words for us over 100 years ago. When you look at those words from Paul Harris, it seems to me there's a lot of things we can remember about what our founder says. These words mean that we don't have to do things the same way, that we can change, that we do have flexibility. Your Rotary International leadership takes these words to heart. Let's do the same. As I said, what don't you like about meetings? What frustrates you about your club meetings or those of other clubs if it's not yours? Please list those concerns in the chat room. We want to make sure, as I said, that we would cover those concerns later on during this session. One of the ways we engage members during virtual meetings is to use the Zoom poll function. Let's use that feature right now to assess how clubs are doing related to meetings during the pandemic period. Go ahead and you can go ahead and start the poll. It's always fun to see what's happening with the numbers, and you might think about using the poll for your club meetings. Members love to be engaged and they love to push the buttons. Oh my goodness, we've got over 71 people with us today. 54 have responded, 55, 56. Are we going to get at least 60? Let's end the polling and let's see what we have for our results. Notice that about 2/3 of you are doing virtual only meetings right now, and 1/3 of you are doing probably in-person meetings. Is your club holding a hybrid meeting? That means is it both in person or virtual? And you can see where we are there. And then has your club made plans to return to in-person meetings? Some of you are, we're about split on that. And we think it's time to start moving on that because it's important that we plan ahead. Our club had a meeting this week to plan about our post-pandemic meetings. So we've seen where we are on this. I want to have Kay Norton, first of all, share what her club is doing as they're planning for post-pandemic meetings. Kay, take the mic.
Thank you, Dean. This is very exciting and very timely news, so kind of hot off the press. Our board met this morning and approved our restart plan. We've had a restart committee for a number of months, but it hasn't really been able to make any definitive planning because of not knowing the availability of the vaccine, et cetera. And so we have now approved a date within the next month or so where we will be going back to the venue where we previously met, but we're going to continue to do hybrid meetings. We did a great deal of research, wrote a grant to our wonderful District 5610, Doug Lynn's on the line here. I saw him earlier, and our current Dan Little, our current district governor, found $25,000 in district money that was primarily not being used because there was no travel, right? So we didn't have to spend that money. So clubs were able to apply for up to $2,500 each for technology and public image projects that would, as an end result in retention and recruitment of membership. And so we were lucky to get that grant, and we're getting ready to go. We're going to be buying some equipment and buying some Rotary gift bag items for everyone in the club and for their guests for our return. And we're just excited. We know we have members who have not attended in the last 9 months when we have been meeting via Zoom because they just miss the in-person. They're experiencing Zoom fatigue through work and they don't want another Zoom meeting. And so, but then for those folks who, for whatever reason, still don't feel comfortable being in person, or for the members who are snowbirds or otherwise out of town, they'll still be able to participate fully in the meeting. So that's what we're doing. And I know there are some wonderful resources available online, and perhaps Liz or Dean will share those as we shared Tuesday in our session. But if you have any questions about what we're doing specifically with technology, feel free to track me down. I can put my contact information in the chat box, or you can find me in the District 5610 directory. I'm the district trainer.
Thanks so much for that information, Kay. And yes, we're going to be sharing some resources in just a minute, but I want to find out what some of our participants are doing in terms of their post-pandemic planning. Would anybody want to share any comments with us? Take 2 or 3 minutes and let's hear from a couple of you on what you might be doing or what your club is doing. Who wants to share? Kay's monitoring that. What do you find, Kay?
Oh, I'm looking for a hands up or a thumbs up. I'm not able to see the hands up sign as readily as the thumbs up. So, or you could just also speak up and unmic yourself and call
I see
attention.
Tina. There's Tina.
Find
Tina,
somebody. Okay.
A thumbs up. Let's hear from Tina. Tina,
Okay.
Take it away.
Yes, thank you. I'm from the Rockwell City Club in Rockwell City, Iowa. And we all during the pandemic have had Zoom meetings. We've never paused our meetings whatsoever. We came back at one time with hybrid meetings that we were able to hold for, until the middle of November when the venue where we were at closed again. And so then we went back to all Zoom. And we have just started doing hybrid again. And our board has decided that we want to continue with the hybrid option because we have a lot of members who are snowbirds. They head south for the winter. And by having a hybrid meeting, it gives them the opportunity to still participate in our meetings. And so we have in-person option and the hybrid option that we're going to continue with.
All right. Thanks very much, Tina. Anybody else?
Clinton Rogers may have some exciting news for us today. Clinton, would you be willing to share? Made a note in the chat box there.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm actually I'm the current president and next year's president. That's why I'm doing pets for the second year in a row, from Janesville, Minnesota. And we had our first in-person meeting today for, the first time in probably 7 months. And when I opened the meeting, I kind of made the joke. I looked at everyone and said, you guys all look a lot better this way than on a computer screen. And everybody laughed. And the meeting went pretty well.
Congratulations.
People were happy to be together again.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it seems to many of us that as we look to gathering in person for our meetings, a very key consideration and an encouragement is to hold hybrid meetings. As a number of you have mentioned, you can attract members who, for whatever reason, can't attend some meetings in person. This just may help you in your membership recruitment. As Kay has noted, investing in the right technology to help you will make your hybrid meetings go efficiently. Rotary International takes seriously the challenges that its clubs have relative to running hybrid meetings. And so it's put out an excellent document. And here it is. It's called Hybrid Rotary Meetings Technical Considerations. Now, if you'd go to your search engine and just type into that search engine, Hybrid Rotary Meetings Technical Considerations, you'll find a document that not only tells about best practice relating to hybrid meetings, it also tells you how to do it. It tells you the equipment that you'll need, the room setup that you'll need. There are pictures. It even gives you estimates of the cost. This is a very valuable document. And if you're looking at going to this one, that hybrid Rotary meetings technical considerations document is something for you to take a look at. And you know what? A good president delegates. So find that document and delegate it to somebody in your club who loves doing that kind of stuff. It's a way to engage members in what's going on. Many districts are also providing resources for clubs as they think about doing hybrid meetings. So don't forget to contact your district governor or your assistant governor for help.
Dean, we have kind of a pertinent question right now, and if I may interrupt for just a second, it might be helpful to discuss it right now. Someone has raised the question, so what happens to your dues structure if you have been previously incorporating a meal fee or whatever? And I would be happy to share what we're doing. We changed our fees structure because the dues really weren't changing, right? It was the dues that we pay to RI and the dues for the club. But we obviously took out the meeting cost fees. And quite frankly, it made it a lot more appealing to incoming members and to existing members. And from henceforth, at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to do kind of a bring your own lunch or arrange for your own meal, or maybe we may have a food truck come by the venue. But so our fee structure definitely went down in terms of the billing that our members receive each month.
Right, and Kay, we're going to be sending out a survey to a little survey monkey to members of the club I'm in. We just discussed this yesterday. And we're going to ask them what their concerns are as we go back to post-pandemic meetings. And we're going to ask them about meals. Would they come to a meeting that didn't have meals provided? And we're having to change our venues. So we're asking them what kind of meal prices would they be comfortable with? And we're asking them what they don't like about our hybrid meeting or our virtual meetings right now, so we can get their feedback and improve it. So ask your members, work with the board, but the dues issue or the meal cost issue is important. But you know what? We're creative Rotarians. We can come up with solutions. And remember, it's all about meeting the needs of our member. Thanks for those questions. Keep them coming. Now, we've talked about member engagement and how member engagement is important during meetings. Let's look at some ways in which we can engage our members. One of my club's newest members commented this week on how she appreciated our informal 10-minute breakout chat time during our meetings. In other words, during our Zoom meetings, we do the announcements, we do the pledge, we do the four-way test. The president tells us what the program's going to be, what we're going to look forward to. And then he says, and now it's time for chat room. So we're going to break into our our small groups for about 10 minutes. And it's a time for our members in this pandemic time to get to know each other better. And are we having fun with that? It's a highlight for many of our members. And I would suggest to use some of the features of Zoom, such as the breakout rooms, to break up your group so they have a chance to chat a little bit, 5-10 minutes. Then you get back to your plenary and you complete your meetings. Remember that you don't have to do it all as a club president. You can call on members to give announcements or report. You can delegate to a member the chance to lead part of the meeting. You can delegate a member a chance to introduce the speaker. Delegating gives you a break and gives you a chance to sit back and think about how the meeting is going. So remember that line, the president doesn't have to do it all. Have you seen a drop off in attendees with Zoom meetings? Many have. One club assigned club service committee members the names of those who are not attending meetings. Those members were given a phone call by one of the club service committee members, not to make them feel guilty, but to say, hey, how you doing, Greg? We've missed you. Just wondered, how's your life going? What's going on? Is there anything I can help you with in terms of our club, in terms of maybe attending by Zoom? And you know, after that committee reached out to our members who've been missing, many of them started attending again. And a number of them said, don't worry, I want to stay engaged. As soon as we're back in person, I'll be on board. So it was a good checkup. So I would suggest you use that personal approach to go after your members. Another way of engaging members is to invite your members to tell a Rotary story, to share something about their work, profession, or business. Your members can provide excellent programs for your club. What does your club do to engage members during your meetings? Do any of you have any recommendations or suggestions that you want to share with others today? If you've got a creative thing that you're using, raise your hand and Kay's going to call on you.
I'm looking here, looking for great ideas. If I'm missing you, unmute yourself and speak
Oh, I
up.
see Michael has something. Michael,
There we go.
What are you doing?
Our president, Sam Thompson, has member update every week. And what he has is pictures from Facebook. It could be Doug Johnson with his 12 grandchildren. It could be Jennifer Benarod, whose son was in a bad car accident and he and the 3 people were okay. It could be a video of somebody's business that was in the news, but maybe 2 to 4 minutes with 1 to 2 members with pictures and a story that everybody can see that's something going on with our members, personal or
Great idea.
business.
Great idea, Mike. Thanks.
Sam's idea.
All right. You know, that's what we do in Rotary. We borrow ideas from others, and that's why we're sharing ideas today. Any other creative ways we're engaging members out there?
Could I make one comment here? This is Clinton. Oh,
Go ahead,
I'm on
Clinton.
Video on. I've noticed in the last couple of years, we've had quite a few new members. So what I try to do at the beginning of every meeting is I try to give them something of a history of what we've done in the past. So I'll say, for example, in 1988, we sponsored 30 kids to whatever. And some of these new members will say, oh, I didn't know Rotary did that. So and it takes a little work every week. I have to dig into our history books and stuff, but I'll just put a little paragraph together about something we've done historically. And a lot of the newer members, I think they really appreciate that.
That's great, Clinton. And what Rotary Club are you in?
Janesville, Minnesota,
Okay.
Between Mankato and Waseca.
You know, everybody, it's important to put that Rotary Club down because you might hear some good ideas. And so you want to Google that Rotary Club and go to their webpage and see what you can find out. That's really important. Any other ideas on how we engage members during our meetings?
Gretchen had another similar type of suggestion from Chaska, Minnesota. Gretchen? Are you muted, Gretchen? Maybe she can't hear me.
I see
She
a
posted in
bill.
the chat that she's having folks do a why Rotary story. Why Rotary instead of something else?
Well, that's
Why
great.
did you choose to join and to stay?
Bill Mack, you've got an idea to share.
Yes, it's not our club, but whenever I travel, I try to go to as many Rotary meetings as I can. Last year I was down in Isla Mirada in the Florida Keys attending a meeting. And every week they have a person that goes through the local newspaper and they read off wherever they find a Rotarian's name in that newspaper. And then somebody has to put $1 or $5 in the bucket for that person. And so it kind of shows where you're seeing the Rotarians out in the community.
Excellent idea. Thanks for that, Bill. Okay, Jim Redfield, did I see your hand go up or are you just waving at me? Okay, just probably a wave. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the next slide. Let's talk about some practical tips for your meetings. Rotary International President-elect nominee Jennifer Jones, speaking to club presidents-elect at a Mega Pets meeting last week. This is a meeting that I was involved with. We had over 1,000 attendees at our Mega Pets. This was Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, parts of Ohio. Anyway, she stressed the importance of being prepared for club meetings. What will you do if the program does not show for a meeting? Do you have something ready to go in your hip pocket? Think about being a member. Think about if you're sitting in the audience and you announce, well, the program didn't show and I just don't know what we're going to do today. You know, all of a sudden there's some discomfort that kind of floats around the room. But if you say something like, the program didn't show up today, so guess what? We're going to do a Rotarian book review. We want Rotarians to think about good reads that they've been reading lately and share that book with everybody else in the club. You'll find that it's an outstanding program and you've got things ready to go, and your club's members know that this is a club president who is well prepared. Make sure that the PowerPoint and other technology works. How many of us have been at meetings and the person starts and all of a sudden the connection doesn't work, all of that. And remember, you don't have to do it as the president. Get somebody else to be in charge of that technology during your meeting for you. I might suggest that you have your club's bylaws with you, just in case. If you're having a business portion of your meeting and somebody wants something to happen or something, oftentimes you're going to need those bylaws. And I think you better stick it in a file and have it a place accessible to you at your meeting. Start your meetings on time and end your meetings on time. Members get uncomfortable when the meeting goes over the stated time. Might you have a special program event that requires more time? Then make sure your happy sad bucks or other meeting activities are shortened. Also, it's important that you give the speaker the time that you allot to the speaker. Some of your members are going to be uncomfortable if they look at their watches and they find out, oh my gosh, we've taken too much time for this and that, and our speaker's not going to have enough time, and what's going to happen? You as president need to monitor that time, and so practice that monitoring as you think about leading your meetings. Are your meetings welcoming, not only to members, but also to non-members? Avoid sensitive topics such as politics, or in some ways, certain religious practices. Many clubs are now going to reflections instead of traditional prayers. And remember, if you change anything about your meetings, run that change idea past your board first. And then prior to the change, educate your members about why such changes are being made. Make known the guidelines for speakers. How much time will they have? Will they use a PowerPoint? Are they to steer clear of asking for money from members? Let speakers know that you'll stand at the side of the room 5 minutes before their presentation is to end, as kind of a nice, polite signal that their time is up. And as we noticed earlier, manage the times for your meetings, making such adjustments such that your meeting can end on time. Be prepared. Oh yeah, I already said that, but you know what? It's worth repeating. And finally, make your meetings enjoyable and fun. Let's think about that fun aspect a little bit. You know, somebody I saw earlier on a chat said, I was at a club once, and let's remember, it's not our club, it's always the other club. But they were doing too much business during the meeting. And every meeting they had too much business going on. So, you know, can we watch that? That's not fun. Think about what is fun for your meetings. Anybody else have any fun, creative ideas that you do at your meetings that your members enjoy that you want to share with them, anybody else this afternoon? Raise your hand, raise the chat. Jim Redfield. All right. Now, Jim, you're on mute. Let's hear from you.
Well, we have one social meeting a month, and we try to do something fun and funny. Last month, online, video, we did a scavenger hunt in our houses, look for different things. And that was just kind of silly. But, then we could talk about when we get whatever we had for the scavenger hunt and say, why is this important to me and that type of thing. So we get to know people better that way.
Great idea, Jim, and way to engage people. Tyler, you have a comment with your hand up, and I know Kay can't see the hand up. So Tyler, what are you doing?
So one thing that we realized is people wanted to break up the monotony of the routine of going to meetings, having the same thing. So we actually have a scheduled social one where we just get to learn about each other and club members, kind of like what you're talking about with that fallback idea, where we say, hey, like, what was your first job? What is like your favorite trip you ever took? And it happened by accident the first time, but we got such great feedback from our members that we just built it into our routine. So I thought it was funny that you mentioned that in terms of like a fallback plan. So the fallback plan actually became part of our routine. And then we actually had one other meeting a month where we dedicate to service only, because so many people join Rotary with that service intention. So we build it right into that. And it's amazing what you can get done within that 1 hour session, even a half hour, including the other half hour for the lunch, with 30 people working on a project with like United Way or something like that comes in with us.
That's a great idea. Tyler, what club are you with?
Alexandria, Minnesota.
All right. Good things happening in Alexandria. Good for you. Kay, do you see any other chats? Any hands up? Any waves?
I'm scrolling across. We have so much wonderful participation today. I'm scrolling across 5 screens here.
I see John Harrell while you're scrolling. John, tell us
Okay.
what you're doing and what's your club, what club you're a member of.
Hello, my name's John Harrell, and I'm from the Anoka Rotary in Minnesota. And to reinforce that fun idea, at the beginning of every meeting, we start with a 4-way test +1. And the +1 is it fun? And it's always brings a smile to everybody's face when they go through the 4-way tests and they're all looking serious. And then at the very end, they say, and is it fun? And the smiles go up.
Good for you, John. Thanks for sharing that. Kay, anybody else?
I'm looking. I would just add, our sergeant at arms conducts a little bit of a scholar dollar quiz every meeting. And it usually has some theme that has to do either with the time of the year or the Rotary month or something of that nature. And obviously with the Zoom function, we've been doing it via polling. And so that's been kind of fun because the questions are usually of a, kind of a trivia type of
Great
a question,
idea.
but they're fun too. And then the money goes into our scholarship fund.
Good enough. That's great, Kay. Great ideas. I see some ideas on the chat room. Keep them coming, folks. All right, let's think. We were talking about engaging members. It's very important that we get our new members started off on the right foot, that they're introduced to our club, that they have a chance to say something about themselves. And we're now going to look at a video that shows you an illustration of how you might install new members to your clubs. Liz, roll the tape.
Hello, my name is Tom Gump, and I'm District Governor for District 5950 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We are here today to do a mock installation of a virtual installation that you can use at your club. Playing our various parts, we have DGN Lloyd Campbell from 5950, who'll be playing our potential new member. We have Mariana Cove, who's the DG for District 5950, and she'll be playing the sponsoring Rotarian. Playing the part of the witness pinner will be our DGND, Julie Grape. Playing the part of the installer is past District Governor Ken Crabb. Ken, please take it away.
Now my favorite part of our meeting. I call upon Mariana Cove to introduce our newest member.
Thank you, Ken. It's my pleasure to know Lloyd, and Lloyd is a very successful beekeeper in Glenwood, Minnesota, and he's very active in Glenwood area and the surrounding communities. He lives with his lovely wife in Glenwood, and they have 2 grown sons. It is my pleasure to have him to join us in our Rotary Club.
Lloyd Campbell, you have been selected by members of this Rotary Club to become a fellow club member. You have been invited to become a Rotarian because you exhibit the qualities that make you a leader in this community, and because you have shown qualities of head and heart that are the foundation of Rotary clubs around the world. The basic ideal of Rotary is service above self, and we use this as our model. Membership in Rotary is an honor and a privilege with corresponding duties and obligations, including service on club committees in at least one area of service, specifically club, community, vocational, international, or youth. You are asked to attend this club's meetings regularly, and when absent, to make up by participation in Rotary service opportunities or at other clubs, whenever you can. Visiting Rotarians are always welcome, and attending a club meeting when traveling will give you a different insight into that community from that seen as a tourist or a business visitor. Because you represent a classification, it is your duty to tell us about your vocation and to bring the ideals of Rotary to your business. The community will know and judge Rotary by your actions. Therefore, membership in our organization must be limited to those who possess the qualities that will further the goals and ideals of Rotary, especially the 4-by test. You have been chosen for membership because we are confident that the image and ideals of Rotary are safe in your keeping. Judy Grape, will you please virtually pen Lloyd?
Thank you, Ken. I'd be happy to. Lloyd, this pin is presented as a symbol of your acceptance into the Rotary family. Wear it proudly and wear it daily to help promote Rotary. It's with great pleasure that we welcome you as a fellow Rotarian. Here's your pin.
Congratulations and welcome to our Rotary family, Lloyd. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I'm very proud to be a part of this organization. This organization has been around since 1905, and the things that you've been able to accomplish in the world is just tremendous, from the UN to almost eradicating polio. And I am so proud to be a part of this, especially the things that you've been doing lately as far as diversity and equity and inclusion. So I'm extremely proud to be a part of this organization, and I'm looking forward to service above self. Thank you.
Very good. Again, congratulations and welcome. Members, will you please unmute yourselves and congratulate our newest member?
Thanks.
Okay, and great job. Ken Crabb is with us today. How about going to that reaction room and let's give Ken a little applause or something that we can let him know we appreciate what he did. Ken, thanks so much for that, and your colleagues for sharing that installation video. All right, now let's talk about meeting flexibility. Some of you have already approached this and mentioned things that you do, and that's terrific. Rotary International now provides you with a great deal of flexibility regarding your meetings. You determine your meetings format. There was a time at PETS when we said, here's what you got to do during your meetings. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. That's gone, folks. That's gone. You're in charge. You determine, and your board, what your meetings must include. You determine the number of meetings. Rotary would like you to have two meetings a month. But your meetings, as somebody said, can be a social. It can be a service project. A meeting might be a tour of a local business or of an organization that benefits from a partnership between your club and the organization. For example, My club, the Rotary Club of Madison Westtown Middleton, partners with a local middle school and provides thousands of dollars for materials needed but not covered in the school's budget. So during a teacher service in-service day, our club provided sub sandwiches for everyone as the club held one of its meetings at the school with the school's staff. What a fun day that was. And as a result, the school is now a corporate member of our club. Everybody wins when we are creative and we find different ways to do our meetings. Think about a number of other considerations. We chatted earlier about meals. You know, it's getting to be that fewer and fewer companies are paying for their employees to be in Rotary. They don't pay the dues anymore like they used to. And meals are an expense. You may have to figure out a way to deal with this. You may want to have a meeting a month or every other month devoted to the work of your club committees. Your members are busy people. They might appreciate having a working club meeting where the club services committee can meet, the vocational services committee, whatever your committees have, right during your meeting, and then have a plenary session where all of the members can hear what the various club committees are doing. Does anyone have any ideas this afternoon that you want to share about how your club has taken advantage of meeting flexibility? We've heard a couple. Are there any others that people want to tell us about? Or maybe we're all a bunch of shy Norwegians from Minnesota. Okay, do you see anything? Oh, I hear Michael again. Michael, take it away.
Yeah, me and my big mouth and my big nose. Anyway, we're in Edina and we have another club, the Morning Club. So twice a year we have joint meetings. And typically those meetings, it maybe is a district governor that's going to come and speak. Another thing we do is we have panel discussions and we invite people from our community. We had a panel discussion on human trafficking where we had 3 people that had been involved with human trafficking. One was a woman that was formerly a prostitute. One was a detective that's founded a nonprofit, and one, believe it or not, was a pimp. So the idea is to have maybe a panel discussion, invite people from the community. It's still a meeting per se, but it maybe involves other people from outside of our club. And again, my idea, it's not my idea, the fact that we have a joint meeting with another club to twice a year get together and meet together. That's it.
Thanks, Mike. Great idea.
Thank you, Dean.
Any others? Okay, let's move on. We want to make sure we stay on our agenda, and I'm monitoring the clock so we can end this meeting on time. There are several ways that we can check out the effectiveness of our meetings. You ask your members. When you have your board meetings, you put on the agenda for your board meeting, health check, and get some feedback from your board members on how the meetings are going. You can also use the member satisfaction survey that's available at Rotary International. And again, if you would Google Rotary International member satisfaction survey, you can get a link to that survey. Don't forget that your district governor can help you find that survey. Your assistant governor can help you find that survey. It's an excellent piece, and here's why. Not only does it ask questions of your members about your meetings, but it also asks about fundraising, about your projects, or any other aspect of their club life that they want to share. You can adapt this to a Survey Monkey, so you can put it out on a email and people can respond so that the responses will be anonymous. It's an excellent way to let your members know that you are listening to them. Let me repeat it again. It's the Rotary Member Satisfaction Survey. And those are excellent resources, along with many, many other resources that are available at Rotary International at its My Rotary, Rotary Club Central website. At our meeting, we had a breakout. We had the same session Tuesday night. Liz Smith mentioned the resources available at the Branding Center in Rotary. Liz, why are those important to our club presidents-elect or who are here today?
Thanks, Dean. So you can find your logo material and other resources at brandcenter.rotary.org. Again, brandcenter.rotary.org. And there you can find the proper logos, a widget to create your custom club or district logo, all of the current theming and branding materials. And it's really important that we all sing from the same hymnal, as it were, that if we look like we're together and cohesive and know what we're doing, then other people see us as an organized organization that they want to be a part of.
Thanks, Liz. It's an excellent resource. And it also has some nice things that you can use for your screen behind your face, if your computer will allow that, like many of us have, or many of you have on this program this afternoon. So Liz, thanks for sharing that. Okay, it's time to check the chat room. Okay, what's out there? While you're looking at the chat room and going through that, I saw quickly, one person said, I want to change things about the meeting, but some of my more, shall we say, traditional members really get upset when I do that. What do we do? Well, there's no magic answers to this one. It's an issue that many of us deal with. And to start with, you talk about why the change is important. You talk about what's important about our club. Let's say your community is becoming very diverse in a lot of ways. And maybe not everybody, like where I was growing up, there were only, well, I'm Norwegian. I can only let you guess what church was in town. And everybody was there. And it was okay that we did a prayer. But you know, our community became diverse. And all of a sudden, we needed to welcome others. And so we first talk about, we say, is membership a worry for us? Oh yeah, we don't get any new members. How come we don't get any new members? Well, you say, let's think about our club meetings. What are some things that are going on in our meetings that would discourage somebody from joining this club? I got to tell you, when I was district governor, I made my 61 club visits here in District 6250. And I drove back to Madison from some of those meetings and I thought, boy, if I was a guest, I don't think I'd return to that meeting. And I'd have to do a little phone call to that president and have a conversation, a friendly conversation, of course, about what they could change. But if you get back at the basics, why are we doing this? That's at least one approach. And engage people, talk to them about it, see what worries them about making this change, and that might help it go down a little easier. But again, there are no silver bullets on dealing with this one. It is a challenge. So Kay, take it away. What do you got?
Thank you, Dean. Well, if you'll recall earlier in our session, you asked people to chime in about what they don't like about meetings. And it's interesting because many of the comments are applicable not just to our Rotary Club meetings, whether they're in person or virtual, but meetings in general, right? So some of the comments were the meetings are too long with no purpose, and the only people who come are those who have nothing else to do. Another dislike about meetings is that there's too much social interaction. Somebody else said there isn't enough time for enough social interaction. So there's a happy medium in there somewhere, again, depending on your club's culture. People who can't make their point succinctly and props to whoever used the word succinctly. Thank you so much. Being able to tie up the meeting time, and Dean, I believe you addressed that earlier. Sometimes you get the same people who are always kind of commandeering the conversation. Too much business. You've addressed that one. Somebody posed the issue that it's kind of problematic and people don't get to know each other very well within their club because people sit at the same table week after week after week. Somebody made a really good suggestion, I thought, in Tuesday's session, that you can have people draw a number out of a hat or out of a bowl when they come in. And that's the randomly selected table that they'll sit at that meeting. I thought that was a really good idea from the other day. And then somebody just posted this question about encouraging flexibility among the older members. And you've been talking about that and incorporating the concept of change. I suppose you could make a case for the fact, somebody kind of alluded to this, that if we're talking about, let's say, more mature members, those are the folks who have had to endure the most change in their lives, and therefore they're the most experienced at change. So maybe we draw on them as resources.
Great ideas and great comments, Kay. Thank you for summarizing those. Well, folks, the other thing I like to do is when you've covered your agenda, you say, it's been a lot of fun. Let's get on with other things. And even though we haven't been here an hour, it's close to an hour, and we have come to the end of our PowerPoint, the end of the chat room. And I want to say thanks to all of you for your participation today, but most importantly, for what you're doing and for Rotary International as your service, as your club's president. It's going to be a great year. You're going to have a lot of fun. Best wishes to all of you, and have a great evening and a great week. Bye, everybody.